Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are tackling one of my biggest gardening goals for 2026. But before we get started, let's see if you can guess what it is first. Here are 3 clues to get you started. I'm growing a crop today that number 1 can stay in the ground for 10 years or more. Number 2 is a total test of patience. You can't harvest it for at least 2 seasons. And number 3 is really expensive to buy in the grocery store, so growing it is a no-brainer for me. Can you guess what it is? You can select your answer by completing the quiz on the screen. Is it A, artichokes, B, asparagus, or C, rhubarb? Here's a catch. I've had these seeds in my stash for a couple of years now. I've been debating starting them every single spring, but I've always talked myself out of it because they require a lot of patience to grow. Have you guessed what it is yet? If your answer was B, asparagus, then you're right. So in my first video that I posted for 2026, I talked about the 5 goals that I wanted to achieve this gardening season, and the last one on the list was to grow one new thing. And guys, I love eating asparagus, so I figured this would be a good pick for this season. Now, will I get to harvest it this year? Absolutely not. This seed is a test of patience, so I'm gonna have to wait for another few years before I harvest it. But the fun fact here is that I've had these seeds since 2022, and if I had started it when I actually bought the seeds, then I would be harvesting tons of asparagus right now. And this is what happens when you delay starting seeds. Don't be like me, guys. Start your seeds right away. Before we get started, if you're new here, hi guys. My name is Marsha and I'm the Blackthumbgardener, and I live in Ontario, Canada, Zone 5B, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe, and if you're returning, welcome back, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. Now let's get started. So today I'm growing Guelph Millennium Asparagus by West Coast Seeds, and this has a 97% germination rate, but I've had this packet since 2022, so I'm starting all 10 seeds that are in this pack. I'm not going to get as high of a germination rate that's on the packet because I've not stored it well, and I've had this since 2022, so I'm going to start all of them and see what happens. Now, I have been soaking the seeds in water for the past 2 hours, and the reason why you want to soak the seeds before you get started is that asparagus seeds have a very tough outer shell, and you want to soften that up a bit, and that will help to speed up the germination process. Now, the instructions say to put 1 seed in a 2-inch pot. I have these 2.5-inch containers by Bootstrap Farmer, so I'm going to put 1 seed per container, and the instructions also say to plant it about a 1/2 inch deep. While I tuck these in, you should know that asparagus is a bit of a legacy crop. Unlike your lettuce or radishes, this plant is a perennial. That means once I transplant these into a permanent bed, they can produce spears for 15 to 20 years. It's also a dioecious plant, meaning there are male and female plants. The males usually produce more spears while the females produce those little red berries you might see in the fall. Now, the Guelph Millennium variety is an all-male variety that was bred at the University of Guelph. The seed packet does say that it is cold tolerant and it's very productive. So I'm really excited to get a harvest in the next few years. Now, here's the thing about asparagus. It's a heat-loving seed to start, and it needs to be placed in a warm space. And because my basement is notoriously cold this time of year, I'm putting these directly on a heat mat. You're looking for a soil temperature around 21 to 25 degrees Celsius to really get them moving. Now, because asparagus is notoriously slow, it can take anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks just to germinate, so you have to start them early. That is why in my garden planner, I have them scheduled in the 8 to 12 week time frame before my last frost. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all these different dates for onions, asparagus, and peppers, my garden planner is designed to take that stress away. It calculates all your start dates for you so you don't miss these critical February windows. You can grab your copy at the link in my description below to get your own 2026 season organized. In my last video, I went through all the seeds that you should be starting right now to build your very own tea garden. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll add it to the description below. But there was one seed that I was missing in that video, and that seed is lemongrass. So earlier this week, I took a trip to Vandermeer Nurseries, and if you guys don't know, Vandermeer's is one of my favorite garden centers to go to. And while I was there, I did get the lemongrass seeds, and I picked up some supplies like potting mix. And I also left with a few extra things along the way. You guys know how this goes already. So while I was at the garden center, I ran into a guy named Rad who's a representative for West Coast Seeds. And for all my OGs on this channel, you guys know that I love West Coast Seeds. So much so that I took a trip to Delta, BC just to visit their store. We actually ended up in a whole conversation about our favorite seeds to grow from West Coast Seeds. And I also got the chance to ask him why a few of my favorites were missing from the shelves this year. He was able to explain to me that if a seed batch wasn't meeting the incredibly high germination standards they set, then it wasn't getting added to the list in that year. This is exactly why I love growing their seeds, because I know that I'm going to get germination when I start them, unless it's my fault, unless I do something completely wrong, and I'm going to get high quality plants out of the seeds that I start. So if you're interested in adding to your collection for this season, then I'll add my affiliate link below. This year I'm excited because I am a brand ambassador for West Coast Seeds, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share all the fun with you guys, so stay tuned to the channel to see more news on that coming in the future. Shout out to Rad on the transparency on why some of my favorite seeds are not on the shelf this year. I really do appreciate the information and insight he provided. And Rad and I have a bit of a history, if you didn't know. I had an encounter with him last year at Sheridan Nurseries, and instead of me giving you the whole story, I'll just roll the clip. I am so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. So today I was on the road. I needed to get some fish fertilizer, some seed starting mix, and I got some seeds. And I went to Sheridan Nurseries. That was my last stop. And before Sheridan Nurseries, I had picked up some fish fertilizer. I needed it to fertilize seedlings. And I've never tried this brand, this Neptune fish fertilizer. But anyways, so I get into Sheridan Nurseries. I'm all excited because I meet the representative for West Coast Seeds. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're here. I never see representatives. And it was cool. I was telling him about my trip and everything, and I was like so excited. And I kept smelling this fish scent, and I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what it was? It was me, because the fish fertilizer spilled in my car, spilled on my jacket, spilled on my seat, spilled on my purse, and I had fish fertilizer all over me. It was me. I smelled. And I feel so embarrassed right now. Shout out to Rad from West Coast Seeds, because he probably stood there thinking, oh my gosh, this girl stinks. And I just want Rad to know it wasn't really me. It was the fish fertilizer. I can't get over it. I'm just so embarrassed. I had to drive home with my windows down, and now I have to wash my jacket. I probably have to detail my car. This stuff stinks. Anyways, as you can see, my first encounter with Rad was a bit of a disaster, and I'm still cringing from the experience. But seeing all of those seeds at the garden center was a reminder that the clock is ticking on some of our favorite varieties that we should be starting this month. Even though it's snowing outside, we are officially in crunch time when it comes to seed starting. If you haven't started these seeds yet, guys, this is your official reminder again. Along with your asparagus, you should be starting your onions, your leeks, your celery, your strawberries, and if you're feeling adventurous, you can even throw in artichokes and ginger. Okay guys, it's time to go through my seed haul that I picked up at Vandermeer Nurseries, and we're going to start off with something that was a recommendation from Rad, and this is the Arapaho cayenne pepper. My goal when growing this is to actually harvest and preserve it and make some cayenne pepper out of it. In the past, I've done that with paprika peppers from West Coast Seeds, so I'm really excited to dry some cayenne for this season. The next seed I picked up is this Nautic Brussels sprouts. Now last year I started Brussels sprouts for the very first time, and I picked up those seeds from the seed exchange, and we're going to be going downtown to the seed exchange in March, but I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get them and start them now. It takes about 120 days days to grow Brussels sprouts. That's a very long time for my short growing season. So I'm hoping to start them a little bit earlier indoors. And then when I transplant them, I'm hoping to get something at least by summer. Okay, the next seed on the list was totally unnecessary, but necessary at the same time. And that's the Cat's Lavender Blue stalk. And we've already started stock on this channel. We started the apricot stalk by Florette, and it's beautiful, but look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at the color. Like, I am so excited to start this. The next one we have is an OG in my garden. This is something I'm growing every year, and that is Scotch bonnet. Now, I've mentioned before that I have a Jamaican background, and Scotch bonnet is something that I use every single week in my cooking. It's a must-have in a Jamaican garden. So I'm going to be growing some Scotch bonnet peppers again this year. And this is great because I have Scotch bonnet in my freezer from 2022, guys. This stuff freezes so well. So Scotch bonnet it is again. And then the last one outside of the lemongrass that I've already picked up is my favorite carrot variety of all time, and that is Yaya carrots. Actually, I should say that last year I grew red sun carrots by West Coast Seeds, and that became a new favorite, but this guy, you have to try. If you are new to growing carrots, then I suggest starting with the Yaya carrots by West Coast Seeds. Guys, I grew this carrot last year in the spring, and I had the most beautiful carrots of all time in my garden. So if you haven't tried Yaya carrots, this is a great one to try. The taste is really good on this one as well. Now, carrots generally grow sweeter as it gets cooler, but I started this in early spring, and by late spring I was harvesting these beautiful uniform carrots, guys. This one, Yaya carrots. You're not going to be steered wrong. Between the Scotch bonnet, the stalk, and the Yaya carrots I picked up, I think I'm officially over my seed buying budget. My budget this year was $100, and I think I'm about $150 at this point. But nonetheless, it's definitely worth the investment. I can finally check off growing one new thing off of my 2026 goals list. It feels so good to finally have my asparagus started after staring at the seed packet since 2022. Now the real test of patience begins while I wait for those spears to form over the next few years. And seriously, guys, if you run into a rep for your favorite seed company at your local garden center, don't be afraid to talk to them. You might walk away with a few nuggets, or you might walk away with a new favorite seed variety. If you're looking to add some of these seeds to your own garden, again, I'll add my West Coast Seeds affiliate link in the description below. You can find all the staples and new varieties we talked about today right there. And if you need help keeping track of all your start dates, grab the garden planner to make sure you're hitting your windows this month. Before you go, did you get that answer right in the beginning? Drop your answer in the comments below and let me know what is one new thing that you're planning to grow this season. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Don't forget to stay warm, happy planting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.